So, why does music affect us so much? One minute we're sad, next we're jumping all over the place. Or you hear a real clangor, and it's like hearing someone scraping their fingernails down a chalkboard. I'm talking about sounds that either complement each other or fight each other, and everything in between. This all deeply impacts us emotionally. These sounds can set up expectations in us for what's coming next. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. And this lets the energy in the music ebb and flow. As musicians, we can learn to take advantage of this, which is great. Responsible for all of this are intervals and their combinations. Let's have a look. An interval always involves just two musical tones. The sound you hear depends how far apart these two tones are, how many semitones apart they are. First, let's listen to a few sounds and see how you think they impact you. Here we have two musical tones 7 semitones apart. This is a really stable sound unique to 7 semitones, just higher or lower in pitch as you move it around. Next are the two intervals that divide our music system into the major and minor. 4 semitones is known as a major third. There's only 2 shapes on guitar that you should burn in. Here they are. Notice it's a diagonal shape, 1 string across, 1 fret back. It changes to a vertical straight line on the G and B strings because those two are tuned 4 semitones apart anyway. Here are some major chords where you can see these shapes. If we reduce the 4 semitones to 3 semitones, we get the minor third, 3 semitones. Notice how this shape stays the same apart from when it hits the G and B string. Now I'll adjust those major chords to make them minor. Now you've seen what's happening with semitones, I'm going to relabel the chord, showing what's happening using theoretically correct labeling, like flat 3 for a minor third and 5 for a perfect fifth. So the flat 3 is 3 semitones and the perfect fifth is 7 semitones. Again, I'm changing the 4 semitones back to 3 semitones. Listen closely for its sound in the chord. Again, here's the chord correctly labelled. Here's our final chord adjusted to a minor. Some pretty amazing sounds start happening once we start stacking major and minor thirds on top of each other. Let's check that out. That stack started with a major third at the bottom. Now let's start the minor third at the bottom and see what we get. Listen to what we get. The further we stack, the more complex the chord sound we produce. From triads all the way up to 13ths, which I'll talk about another time. Here I'm building the major triad, showing it everywhere. Click in the major third. Next, the perfect fifth. And I'll change the major third to a minor third. You should spot some familiar chord shapes in this lot. Going back to the original chords we looked at, they were examples of major and minor triads. So let's take a quick look at the shapes for a perfect fifth, i.e. 7 semitones, and then you've got all the shapes you need to make any major or minor triad you want. The point being that these make great landing notes against the chords. So a fifth is a really stable note, but it's a bit more interesting than just landing on the root. And of course the major third or the minor third as needed really spells out the chord. You just need to make the mental connection between the sounds of these intervals and your fingers. So what we'll look at next time is how some intervals have a very clashy sound, and you can use this to raise the emotions in the listener and to raise a sense of expectation in them, to get rid of that clash. See you next time. Cheers.